Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. It is going to be an update in my Pan in Every palette project. I do not have the most exciting progress, but I do have a palette that I am going to be rolling out. Not because I have a pan, but I also gave myself the stipulation within this project that if I use every eyeshadow within the eyeshadow palette, I am giving myself the option to roll it out, kind of like no pan left behind style. And there is one palette that I'm going to be rolling out today just so I can roll in a new palette, and I also think I can organically hit pan on one of the shades within this palette. So if you are excited about that, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love for you to consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. I'm not sold on this background right now, but I like feng shuied my apartment and I like twisted my desk around, which is normally behind me. I twisted it around so it's facing like my living room area rather than like facing the wall, and I like having my desk facing the living room, but I'm not sold on like what the filming is gonna look like. So if my background is like bopping around between like this and my normal background, I apologize, but we're gonna see, we're gonna roll with this just maybe for a little bit, we'll see. All right, so earlier this year I was doing the Pan Those Eyeshadows project, which was created by Alexi. I transitioned over to the Pan in Every palette. I have not been wearing makeup as frequently as I normally have in years past, so my progress within these products, just within all of my projects this year, just like hasn't been what it normally would be. I don't have any new eyeshadow pans to share with you guys, whether they be in this project or outside of this project. I gave myself a goal at the beginning of the year to hit pan on 22 eyeshadow pans in 2022. That's not gonna happen, but that's okay. We are giving ourselves grace for this year, and that is fine with me. All of the information about this product will be linked below. Creator, other content creators doing this, playlist, etc., all the things will be in the description box, but let's just jump right into it. We can start with the two eyeshadow palettes that I did not use at all since the last update. The first one being this one from Nabla. This is the Metropolitan Cutie palette, and I have only reached for this 2 times, I think. I believe it's 2 times. It's either 2 or 4. This is the one that I didn't have notes for, but I have not reached for this at all since the last update. So shame on me. I have not yet used every single shade within this palette either, so I can't roll it out for pan, no pan left behind. Like I can't roll it out for that either. So I need to get my butt going on this and at least use every shade within this palette. So that's where we stand there. And then the other one that I didn't reach for at all is my my Be Perfect Carnival 3 palette. And I had used this 2 times as of the last update, and I did not reach for this anymore at all. This is what this looks like. This is definitely going to be a no pan left behind rather than hitting pan on a shade. I also give myself the stipulation that if I hit pan on an eyeshadow, I still have to do no pan left behind before I can roll the palette out. I have reached for 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 out of the, I believe it's 45 shades in this palette. So we still got some work to do there. But I'm feeling actually like just feeling more like myself the last couple of days. And like I sat down the other day to like plan out my content for the next 2 months and like was really getting excited to film and do my makeup. I'm saying that now, take that with a grain of salt, because I feel like so many times this year I've been like, oh, I'm super excited to get back into filming. But I like really am starting to feel like myself again, which I'm super excited about. All right, let's talk about this palette next. This is a palette that I'm going to be rolling out. I have used every single shade within this eyeshadow palette. I had reached for this 2 total times as of the last update, and I reached for this an additional 5 times, putting me at 7 out of 7 uses. I'm like 7 out of the what? 7 uses, and I have reached for every single shade within this palette. This is a really good just like comfort palette. Like if you just need something super quick and easy, more like neutral leaning cool, this is just such a good palette for that. So I am confident I can just organically hit pan on this shade right here. I use this as an inner corner highlight quite frequently, and actually this shade kind of cracked and I had to like repress it into place. I have hit pan on other Natasha Denona mini palettes in the past and they take effort. Like these pans are actually really deep. I don't know if I'll hit pan on this before the end of the year, but nevertheless, I am going to roll this eyeshadow palette out because I am confident I will just organically reach for this and hit pan on it. So I'm gonna roll this out and roll a different palette in its place. And then the fourth eyeshadow palette, this one was rolled in last update actually. This is the Artist Couture Supreme Nudes palette. And I reached for this 10 total times since the last update. I reached for this almost every single time that I did my eyeshadow. And normally I would tell you that it was really just like this shade I was reaching for, but I actually reached into this palette for just about every shade in this palette. I have not yet done a look using this, where am I? This shade right here, or this shade right here. But aside from that, I have reached for every single shade within this palette. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes in my entire collection. I love the color story, I love the quality, and I'm really excited to look at what this palette looked like when I rolled it in versus now. I'm just like, I feel like specifically with like Stripped and potentially like Silhouette and Transcend, like I feel like there's just gonna be a little bit more disturbance, which makes me super happy. I haven't hit pan on anything, and I also haven't used every single shade within this palette. So this one will also be staying in. I also decided to work on a single shadow throughout my collection within this project, just as a way to get some extra use out of my single shadows. And the single shadow that I randomly rolled in was the shade Summer Fling from Give Me Glow Cosmetics, and I did not reach for this at all since the last update. I was at 5 total uses last update, but I did not reach for this anymore at all. There is like a decent like disturbance there in the center of the pan because I was reaching for this as an eyeliner. So I'm gonna keep this in. Gonna keep trying to get use out of it. Obviously I didn't use it at all since the last update, but we're gonna be doing our makeup more the next few months. So, well, hopefully just the next forever, but that is my progress there. And then I also decided, just for funsies, to work on a face palette within this project as well, because my face palette collection is historically the part of my makeup collection that gets neglected the most. So I thought this would be a fun way to work on a face palette. So I randomly rolled in the Lorac Shine Bright Color Source eyeshadow palette. I was at 6 total uses last update, and I did reach for this an additional 6 times since the last update, putting me at 12 total uses. This is what this is looking like. I reached into Aura and Tea Rose quite a bit, as well as Blossom. I reached for, I believe, 5 out of the 6 times. Aura and Tea Rose separately I reached for about 3 times. Sometimes I would like mix these two together. Sometimes I would mix these two together, but almost every time I reached into Blossom, which appears to have like the most use. Blossom and Tea Rose both have pretty good use on them. Regardless, I love all 4 of these blush shades. I think the blush quality within this palette is also really good. They're like neutral, easy to wear, easy to match with whatever look you're doing blushes as well. So it's a very easy palette to reach for. And this palette has gotten so much use this year. This has been in other projects as well. So I'm very excited about that. But that is my update there. And those are all of the palettes that I'm currently working on. We are rolling out the Natasha Denona Mini Glam, meaning that we are gonna roll in a new palette. So let me go grab my phone and we can randomly generate what palette we're gonna work on. Okay, I had to take my pizza out of the oven to make sure it didn't burn as well. And now I'm starving. I don't have, as per usual with me, I don't have like 100% up-to-date spreadsheets. So there's a couple of like blank spots that are like palettes that I've decluttered that I haven't like updated my spreadsheet. I think I have all of my new palettes in my spreadsheet, but I currently have 138 possible, like my spreadsheet goes to 138, but there's quite a few blank spots within that. I don't feel like I'm making sense, but we're just gonna roll and hopefully we'll get a palette that's still in my collection that makes sense. Where is my random number generator? All right, we're gonna randomly generate a number between 1 and 138, and we only need to generate one number, and we get number 66. 66 is Melt Mary Jane. This is like, This is a good replacement for this because they're both like cool toned palettes. But the Melt Mary Jane palette is definitely a finicky palette. Like, it takes time and effort. I'm gonna go grab it and I'll be right back. The thing I like about having my desk in front of me is I can like lean forward like this. I almost feel like a newscaster here. Okay, you guys will have to let me know, like, is this background, like, you don't have to love it, but is it okay? Like, is it okay? I hope so. We've got the Melt Mary Jane palette. I just realized, actually, I have a pan in this palette. So technically this shouldn't be part of the rotation because the idea of pan in every palette is that you're just trying to get a pan within every palette of your collection. So we're gonna have to re-roll because I do have a pan right here in Sinsimilia. Sinsimilia? I have no idea how to pronounce that. But I'm gonna re-roll. I'm gonna set this aside to get use out of this, like maybe use it 1 or 2 times since it got rolled. But we're gonna roll again because the point of this project is to hit pan in every palette. We get number 72. 72 is Nabla Analog. I thought that this was already in this, but it definitely wasn't. Okay, I'm gonna go grab that. That's interesting that then I'll have 2 Nabla Cutie palettes. I'll be right back. You guys aren't gonna believe this. This is what I'm saying, my spreadsheet isn't up to date. I forgot this was going in my Panless eyeshadows earlier this year. And would you even know it, I have a pan. Can you tell? Can you see it? It's like the tiniest baby of pan right here, but guess we're gonna have to roll again. Okay, rolling again. We get number 51. All right, let's hope this one is one without a pan. Number 51 is Huda Cool. Huda Cool. Huda Python, Huda Cool. What the heck is Huda Cool? Huda Warm Snake, Huda Python. Oh, it must be the Jaguar palette. Got it. Okay, 1 minute. Wow. Another cool tone palette rolled. Do you guys ever do that where you like make notes and like you can't even remember like what your own notes meant? Anyway, so we have the Huda Wild Jaguar palette, and I'm actually really excited that this got rolled because I love my Huda Obsessions palettes, but they have been a little bit neglected this year, and this is one that I really liked last year. I really liked every single palette. I purchased 3 out of the 4 within the Wild Obsessions collection, and I really enjoyed all of them. So this is what the Wild Jaguar looks like this, and I have not pulled this out in what feels like such a long time, so I'm super excited about it. And I also feel like my camera battery is about to die. Okay, as I was saying, I'm also really excited because I just feel like this is the perfect time of year for this palette. This is giving me like New Year's Eve, New Year's vibes, and just like winter vibes in general. Obviously it's more cool toned and you can do like some really glamorous things with this, so I'm actually really excited. There is kind of like a lid setting shade, but I want to like get out of only hitting pan on lid setting shades and matte brown shades. So maybe we'll hit pan on something else, or maybe we'll do pan in every palette. I will say the Huda Beauty Obsessions pans are historically very shallow, so definitely easier to hit pan on. So I would like to actually hit a pan. That's gonna be the goal. It looks like the one I'm honestly closest to hitting pan on is this purpley shade down here. Regardless, it'll be very interesting to see what looks we come up with this and whether or not we have a pan next update. But that is going to wrap it up for this pan in every palette update. I would love to know if you've recently hit pan on any shades. What palettes did it come from? What palettes are you most excited about me using? What do you think? What palette do you think I'm gonna hit pan on first? Would love your feedback in the comments down below. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.